This is Optimal Finance Daily, episode 672, Fight or Flight Investing by James Altucher of jamesaltucher.com. And I am Dan, your host, and this is where I read to you from some of the best blogs on personal finance. I am here each Monday through Friday narrating articles from great sites like Mr. Money Mustache, I Will Teach You to Be Rich, Get Rich Slowly, Afford Anything, The Mad Fientist, and many more. It's kind of like a gigantic ongoing audiobook. And today's post comes from James Altucher, a popular podcaster and writer. And before we get to his post, most job boards overwhelm you with tons of the wrong resumes. Not smart. But ZipRecruiter finds the right people for you and actively invites them to apply. Smart. Try it for free at ziprecruiter.com/OFD. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. For now, let's get to today's post and start optimizing your life. Fight or Flight Investing by James Altucher of jamesaltucher.com. If you've ever followed anything I've written or interviews I've done, you've probably heard me say that the stock market is a scam, and that's because, quite frankly, it largely is. So many public companies manipulate their numbers. So many mutual funds and stockbrokers have a bunch of hidden fees. All these investment news sources preach that the stock market is going to collapse or that you should buy this or that stock that's going to get you 6,000% gains. Don't fall for any of it. It's all a scam. But that doesn't mean you can't make money in the stock market. In my years of investing, I've probably tried every strategy there is out there. There are only about 3 that I really care about. This is one of them. In fact, if I were to die tomorrow, this is the strategy I would tell my children to use to invest the money from my life insurance policy. And the best part is, you'll never hear any investors talk about this strategy because it goes against everything they believe about investing. So here it is. This is one of the most important strategies, if not the most important, that I could give you. This is what you should always look for when investing. 1. Find the irrational fear. In 2008, the oil markets were crashing, and so everyone thought that Texas and California were about to declare bankruptcy. Everyone was talking about it on TV and in the news. They had no idea what they were talking about. It's not even legal for states to declare bankruptcy. The Founding Fathers wrote it into the Constitution. The only way a state can even get out of paying back a debt is if, first, they fired every single public servant and every public school teacher, etc. I would go on CNBC and have these arguments with people. I'd go on and say that it wasn't going to happen, that it wasn't allowed to happen. But still, these guys on CNBC, professional pundits and investors, could not wrap their minds around this. The point is, there's always an irrational fear somewhere in the market. It's the financial version of fight or flight. Except, and this is key, investors always run. Fight that fear and you'll be surrounded by solid opportunities at a huge discount. Which brings me to number 2. Find assets or stocks that are discounted because of the fear, especially when there's no actual risk. Here's a funny story. There was this company based in China with the stock symbol HOGS, H-O-G-S. Then around 2007 or 2008, the swine flu became this huge health concern. All of a sudden, that HOGS stock was down 20% in one day. All because everybody, for some reason, thought that the swine flu was going to affect this company that had absolutely nothing to do with it. Here's another story. In 2008, during that time that everyone was afraid Texas was going to go bankrupt because of the crashing oil market, I found a bunch of bonds issued by Texas towns and counties that were trading at a huge discount. They didn't even rely on the oil industry for most of their revenue. They were just being caught up in the fear. So not only was there this irrational fear that Texas towns would go bankrupt, but it was temporarily making these specific assets that had nothing to do with this story way cheaper than they should have been. It presented an incredible opportunity to buy. That's exactly the kind of thing I'm looking for. That's exactly what I'm always researching. That's what I would recommend my kids to do, and that's where I think people should put their money. 3. Only put your money in investments where the price is at a huge discount to the underlying assets. In other words, if a company has $100 worth of assets and you could buy it for $70, that's a great investment. Let's look at those Texas bonds again. Not only were they trading at a major discount, they were also paying a huge tax advantage yield. I want my investments to be discounted below the value of the assets they own. I want that extra margin of safety. It's a double discount on the underlying assets. I don't pay full price for my investments. That's how people get rich. That's my favorite way of investing, and I'm not alone. The richest investors in the world do this as well. Bill Gates, Warren Buffett, Carl Icahn, George Soros, etc. They all do this. But you don't have to be a millionaire or billionaire or even wealthy to make this strategy work for you. In fact, it's one of the safest strategies I know. Over time, the stock market has averaged just 7% per year, but you could safely and consistently beat that. So why wouldn't you? You just listened to the post titled Fight or Flight Investing by James Altucher of jamesaltucher.com. And thanks again to ZipRecruiter for sponsoring this episode. You know what's not smart? Job sites that overwhelm you with tons of the wrong resumes. But you know what is smart? ZipRecruiter.com/OFD. Unlike other job sites, ZipRecruiter doesn't wait for candidates to find you. ZipRecruiter finds them for you. Its powerful matching technology scans thousands of resumes, identifies people with the right skills, education, and experience for your job, and actively invites them to apply, so you get qualified candidates fast. No more sorting through the wrong resumes, no more waiting for the right candidates to apply. It's no wonder that ZipRecruiter is rated #1 by employers in the U.S., and this rating comes from hiring sites on Trustpilot with over 1,000 reviews. And right now, my listeners can try ZipRecruiter for free at this exclusive web address, ZipRecruiter.com/OFD. That's ZipRecruiter.com/OFD. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And a quick note that you can listen to this show on Amazon in-home devices like the Echo and Dot. Just tell your Amazon device, enable Optimal Finance Daily. And we're also on Spotify and Google Podcasts, even YouTube. But if you're listening there, we always do recommend a podcast app because it's a bit easier to listen to. And that's going to do it for me today. Thank you so much for being here and listening all the way through. And I'll see you tomorrow in the Wednesday show. That's where we'll hear a post from Budgets Are Sexy. And it's also where your optimal life awaits.